Ms. Rice asked me out here to speak with you guys about a couple of things. One, the city has 121 illegal dump sites in the city, which is monitored weekly. In your area, it's about 41 or 42, if I'm not mistaken. But we have also, one second, we have also prosecuted 68 people for illegal dumping. Because what they do is they leave a paper trail. So when we find a hot spot or illegal dumping site, we go through that, comb through that trash to find something that can lead to a conviction. So over maybe a period of a year, maybe, we've prosecuted over 68 people. The Cat newspaper, the list just goes on and on. So we are monitoring those things. The city also have an initiative for recycling. The third Saturday of every month at the West End Mall. Anything that you cannot place curbside, we are at the West End Mall station to take everything that you cannot take, even tires. If you see something, say something. You can call 311 or the Crime Stopper number. Do not approach, allow us to do that, please. Just if you see it, get a tag number, make and model of vehicle, give us a call. You can even call 311 and we'll go and prosecute those people according to what you saw. Okay? I know I just gave you a whole lot at one time. Can I take your question?
I was just curious what our area, when you said our area, is that just Washington Park, 41?
It is the northwest quadrant from Northside Drive to Hollywood Road.
Oh, okay.
And from Marietta down to MLK. So it's only the right side of MLK. The left side, that even though it says northwest, it's really the southwest quadrant, and it has its own dump site. So I do not have that information.
What about, furniture or anything like that people put outside their homes? Now, are they to bring it to the recycling, or do you all pick up? Is there a certain day?
Yes, ma'am. In the northwest quadrant, your bulk collection is the last week of the month. You can place items curbside. Now, please don't take this and just run with it. You cannot put building material, roofing material, things that is not household garbage. You cannot place that stuff on the side of the road and say, well, Officer Chambers told me the last week of the month. It's not gonna fly, okay? So please be mindful of what you place curbside. But you are allowed to place bulky items curbside the last week of the month. Yes, ma'am.
You said you take tires?
No, we don't take tires. But the third Saturday of the month, we are partnered with Liberty. Liberty is out there taking the tires. The city of Atlanta does not take tires.
Right.
You can't even place it out just one next to your Herbie Kirby. Because we don't have a source of disposal. Yes, ma'am.
Do we have to call for the bulk at the end of the month, or just put it out there?
No, you have the whole week to place it curbside. Yes, sir.
You said third Saturday every month at the West End Mall.
Yes, sir. That's the
That's-
recycling initiative.
Okay, you mentioned tires. What are some of the other things? Do you take furniture,
We take
mattresses, box springs,
We take everything.
everything?
Yes, sir. Shredded paper, electronics, everything is the third Saturday of the month.
And what time is that?
That's between the hours of 9 and 2.
Officer Chambers?
Yes, ma'am.
We appreciate you coming, but since we haven't started late, we are gonna have to go on, but we really appreciate you coming.
Well, I can give everyone my number. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
okay. Calling, 311, I can call about the trash cans and anything else out of place.
Anything,
And the
anything
311,
that you
that's the
see.
city, number.
Yes, ma'am. 311 for any busted pipes, water you see running, if the street has an issue with the curb, if it's a pothole, 311 is our central number that you can call.
Okay.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just wanna ask one question. When the garbage cans are empty, the folks who pick them up, they leave them in the street, so how do we go about it? Are they supposed to leave them in the street?
They are not. They're supposed to dump that container and place it where you put it at.
Well, it's.
Place it where,
in the
place
street.
it where we put it out? That's not happening.
They just roll it back up and leave it in the street by the curb. They don't put it back up on it.
Well, y'all collection day is Thursday, so I'll be in the area.
Yeah, please do.
I'll come over this week.
I think also, there was a practice that we did where we used to put signs out, the week the bulk rubbish, was to be picked up. And I think, and so I would humbly ask if we could reinstate that practice so that we can begin to get the word out. I think even the folks who do evictions and all this other stuff, who just choose to put their bulk stuff on the street and don't take any time to call or find out when it should go on the street, we just need to tell all of our neighbors the time and when to actually place it and what they can and can't place. That they can't place tires, but those large bulk items, if we could, and matter of fact, we'll work with you if we can to get a mailing out so that folks can look at the list of the things that they can put on the street. All right. And if you could, I'm going to post this, but if you could just state for the record, what are the bulk items that are allowable to be put on the street?
The bulk items, it's 1 bedroom. That's what's considered bulk in the code, in the city ordinance. It calls for 1 bedroom. That's what it says. It leaves it general. It doesn't say a mattress, a TV. It says 1 bedroom is considered bulk. And we are still practicing putting the signs out. There are signs curbside saying that the bulk area will be, the bulk truck will be in the area this week, and it is, we do have signs where we put, even if the sweeper is coming. When it's time to sweep the streets, there's signs on the corner that says street sweeper this week.
Yeah, well, I've seen that, but I haven't seen no bulk items.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
ma'am.
usually have them on the corner up here at the park. I hit Ollie and Lena Street. They used to
But
have
not
one
on
down.
Hartwell.
They
Corner of
don't
Ollie and MLK.
I didn't say Ollie.
They don't do that on
I said
Hartwell.
Ollie
On
and
Hartwell?
Lena.
They don't do anything on Hartwell.
And then they have it on Ollie and
Yeah.
Westmoreland.
When the streets continuing, Howard is a dead end. Right there in to the belt line. They don't come to sweep, they put no signs and nothing there.
I'll
We
look into
have to do our say.
I'll get back to Ms. Ross. I'll look into that.
And also, when, like if someone get put out and they just, like you said, just throw stuff out.
Well,
and
that's a touchy situation because
And
those
when-
people are prosecuted and brought to court.
They don't
Because it
do
is
that
not
on
the
Howard.
city's burden to remove their mess.
And we called and found like the elderly one, they did come, but it was really after them because it was just a mess. But they did, we had to keep calling, but they did take it up eventually.
Well, if you all could just do us a favor, what will help is when you call 311, be as honest as you possibly can. Tell us the truth, because when we go out and if you was to call and say, well, it's some stuff's curbside, and you know that owner evicted those people, we go out on the blind and just say, okay, now the city have to clean this up. Those are taxpayer dollars versus us prosecuting the owner of that home saying you need to remove this stuff on your own. So you have to work with us and just be as honest as you possibly can with 311, because we run into that daily.
Yeah, we did, we gave the address and told them what happened.
I'm
and
kind
it
of
sits there.
designated person to do that for Howard, because there's not a lot of people. A lot of houses are vacant, and they don't do it. When I call, they give me some kind of excuse, don't show up,
Well, I'm
nothing.
gonna give you a very important phone number, which is
Okay.
mine.
Okay.
It's 404-290-3865. Give me a call, I'll be more than happy to. 290-3865. Yes, ma'am.
If my favorite therapy has a hole in the bottom,
Yes, ma'am.
about the size of the cup maybe, and the lid is getting kind of ragged and just split on the top. How do I go about getting another one, or do I have to wait till the whole bottom come out?
311. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, folks who are being evicted, they should be bringing out containers to hold all of that refuse, all of that trash, all that stuff that they pull out of houses, it is illegal for them to just dump it in the public right of way or to dump it on the side of the street. And so if you see somebody doing that, you report them. And the owners of those properties will then assume responsibility for the cleanup of that mess, and then we won't have to come pick it up.
Right, correct.
Marshals frequently instruct owners to leave the material for the evicted tenant to have a chance to come, retrieve their stuff. As you know, evictions are often without notice, and they have to go arrange for whatever, some means to remove those. So it would be, marshals instruct owners to leave stuff on the yard, usually not on the public right of way, and then to leave, a reasonable amount of time for retrieval. So there is a little bit of, there's a humanitarian concern about not just removing the stuff and dumping it. So I don't know where you want to, come on that, but
Ma'am.
but once you leave it, of course, other people come and spread it, and they go through it. I mean, short of hiring someone to stand there guarding the stuff, I don't know what can be done.
Okay, City of Atlanta spoke with the captain of the marshals, okay? And what the Fulton County State Code and the city ordinance codes, they work hand in hand, okay? So what the ordinance says for Fulton County is, you have 48 hours to put somebody out, to put their things out, but you have to keep it on your property. It cannot go on city street. So the marshal cannot tell you to place something on the city's curb, because that's not the law or the ordinance.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying, once you put it on the front yard, say, unless you stand there for 48 hours, that stuff will move.
It will, and you're still responsible because you're the owner, so it's at your discretion to secure that property.
The owners have given their tenants months of notice. They're by law, they're not immediately evicted. There are months that lead up to an eviction where notices are provided and warnings are given. And so I understand what you're saying. Those warnings should send a message to the owner, to the tenant, that I'm about to be put out, and I've been put on notice, and I've got a certain amount of time to safely remove my valuables, so that they won't wind up on the street. But when a owner chooses to evict and they're cleaning, they're doing more than just taking out valuables. They're completely cleaning those properties for their next tenant. And what we've witnessed is the assumption is they're allowed to do that and just dump it all on the sidewalk and make the assumption that the city will pick it up. Because it's more than just TVs and radios and valuables. It is everything. And so it is the owner's responsibility to, if they're going to clean that property, that they get a container and they put all of that refuse in the container. And the owner, the person who owns the valuables, they have an obligation to protect their own personal property, especially since they've been noticed at least over 90 days that an eviction is coming.
No, I just want, I was talking about, I understand all of it. Of course, that's not how it always works.
Right.
But in any case, there is, as an owner, you always feel obligated, even though you just went through, to give the owner, the owner of the property, the tenant, the former tenant, a slight opportunity to retrieve, because even though they've been, notified, they nevertheless are surprised when the marshal shows up. And the eviction gets done under the marshal's instructions. We don't clean the whole place out.
I understand that, but
so-
if you put somebody out next door, it's unfair if I own the home next to you, for me to walk out and see that every day.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So there's a conflict of interest between the person whose property is put out and the neighborhood. And the usual thing is, we allow 24 to 48 hours for the person to retrieve their stuff, after which point the owner comes in, or at least we do, come in and clean up whatever remains. No, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that, you know, and it's impossible for us to get a container. We can't go get a permit, you know, put a dumpster out in the street. For some, the marshal calls us 20 minutes before the eviction. We can't do all that. That's not.
Okay, let me, excuse me, but she has given you her number, and we have quite a bit to go on, and we started late and everything. In order to give everybody a chance, you're gonna have to, if there are any other questions, Officer Chambers has said, call her directly. So we do need to, we appreciate you coming, but we wanna start with the, zone 1, and then, we're moving our agenda around quite a bit.
Thank you. Y'all just give me a call, I'm more than happy to help.
I agree, yeah. Does anyone have an agenda that, they would like to give her? Sorry, I don't have it up. Okay. No, that is it. Let me see. Can she have yours?
I'll walk out with you, I got one in the trunk of my car.
She has to sign.
Okay.
That's how I get paid.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I tell you what. Let me do this and I can use someone else.
Yeah.